Sony are currently being investigated by the Romanian authorities. A new 4TB SSD has been released with an eye-watering price, and the PS5 is selling like hotcakes in the UK. So let's jump into the weekly PlayStation news. PlayStation is currently under attack from the Romanian Office Competition Authority, the RCC, as they are being investigated. The reason for this investigation from the RCC, as they think Sony is abusing its dominant position in the games market, which is kinda strange as that's what gaming companies strive to be, dominant in their respective fields. The investigation is actually called the Antitrust Investigation, and it is to do with the PlayStation Store and the exclusive sale of digital versions of games. The RCC is also upset that Sony doesn't allow the sale of game activation keys to independent stores, as you can buy Steam and Xbox keys in a multitude of ways. I get quite a few of my games via CD keys, and there are a number of other websites and stores that do this. According to Romania, they have these practices restrict the ability to purchase PlayStation games, leading to higher game prices for these consoles. This isn't the first time either that Sony has had to deal with lawsuits on this specific topic, as one was only dismissed in the United States just last year in July. The case was dismissed by a federal judge. This coming from PlayStation Lifestyle. The RCC claims that Sony may have violated Romania's competition laws by forcing players to purchase digital games via the PS Store. The authority further believes that Sony may have abused its dominant position in the console market by prohibiting sales of game codes via competing distributors. In its press release announcing the investigation, the RCC revealed that it carried out inspections at Sony's offices in Europe to gather more information and relevant evidence. The RCC didn't say how long its investigation will take. With the inspections, officials seem to have deduced that these may be anti-competitive practices that may harm approximately 1.3 million players and 127 development studios in Romania. Sony is the only console manufacturer that doesn't allow sale of digital game codes via third parties, as we said earlier, CD keys and G2A. So this issue is not going to go away for Sony, and to be honest with you, it's rightfully so. Games on the PlayStation Store are so expensive, people are being very picky on what they buy now. The prices of games have skyrocketed since the days of buying a brand new release at such a low price. They really need to look into this, because games are just becoming so expensive on the digital store when you can just walk into a shop and buy the game on disc for a fraction of the price. If it's digital, you haven't got any of the expenses for labeling, for manufacturing costs. That's all gone. But with Romania looking into this and with the case thrown out last year, I really doubt they're going to get any further. If you're liking what you're watching, it would be great if you could consider subscribing by hitting that big old button. It's free for you and helps me out greatly. Thanks for watching. Moving on now, we're going to look at a new Western Digital SSD that has come out, and it's an eye-watering £499. That is ridiculous. So, when the PS5 was launched and Sony said we could add our own SSD to the console, every PlayStation player shouted in harmony. But then the prices were increased by sellers. We were seeing prices as high as £200 here in the UK for 1TB SSDs at the back end of 2020. When I purchased my PS5 last year, I was able to get a 1TB SSD for £80 on Amazon, which is actually the Western Digital Black SSD. This brand is what we're going to be talking about today, as they've just released a 4TB SSD with an eye-watering price of $549.99. That's $70 more than an actual PS5 disc version console, which is insane. Many fans have noted just how expensive the item is. The Reddit browser wrote, "Such a ridiculous markup," while Shaken Espresso Latte added, "This BS costs more than the console itself." Stratskono said, "I'd rather buy another PS5, LMAO. I certainly can't see this one flying off the shelves though, especially if it's being charged for $80 more." than actual console. Next on the list is the sales of PlayStation 5s here in the UK. They are up an impressive 81% year on year, which is just incredible and shows that Sony have overcome the manufacturing issues that plagued Sony due to the pandemic. When the PS5 is compared to other consoles, we have the following numbers. The Nintendo Switch is down 8% year on year, which, considering that the Nintendo Switch is now in the twilight years of its life, it's still not bad. The Xbox Series X and S is down 19% compared to the same time last year. Even though these are impressive numbers for Sony being 81% year on year, the console is actually down 23% month to month for sales. May was the lowest month compared to how many they sold in May of 2022. The UK's best-selling item at the moment in the accessories and peripherals is the PS5 DualSense controller, which is not wild to see if the console is selling more than everything else. That's all we got for this week, guys. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and I'll see you all in the next video.